everyone, and welcome to my kitchen. One of my firm family favorites is, of course, the humble roast chicken. If you are wanting to just have a little quick and easy makeover, I'm just about to show you how to take your roast chicken around the world using spices. Now, roast chicken is not only economical, but it's generally very easy to make. But there are a few little tricks that I can show you where we can really increase the flavor and the personality of the roast chicken. So this is about a 1.1 to 1.2 kilo bird, and this would serve a family of 4 very easily. Now, if you are in a big rush, say you need this done just a little bit faster, there is a trick I can teach you where we can get this bird to cook down absolutely beautifully, but in about 25 minutes. So just grabbing a nice set of kitchen scissors or just your bread knife, what I'm going to do is just cut down either the left or the right side of that backbone, and that is going to allow us to open this bird up so that all that rib cage is onto the tray, which will help conduct the heat and cook it faster. Now, what that also allows us to do is, other than stuffing the bird in the cavity, now generally you would make a beautiful stuffing, and of course sage and onion is a gorgeous traditional stuffing. I'm going to show you a few sexy alternatives to a bread-based stuffing, and we're going to use sweet potato and pumpkin. But when we stuff into the cavity, I don't think that the flavor gets through enough. And often, if you are worried about breast drying out, it's lovely when we can actually put that flavor cap of stuffing under the skin, but on top of that breast meat, so that the flavor cooks in and moisturizes it beautifully. Now, I use this trick for my Christmas turkey as well. So turkey is considerably drier, especially when we have to cook it for such a long time. So making a little envelope between the skin and the breast of the chicken is where we are going to hide that gorgeous stuffing. So just use your thumbs and make sure if you've got long nails that you wear gloves. We don't want to tear the skin. All I'm doing is just putting my thumbs right down to even the end of the drumstick. The drumstick is going to get some attention this time. The drumstick is also going to get some of that lovely flavor from whatever stuffing you decide to do. So just making that little envelope, and then let's get that stuffing underway. Now, of course, if you don't plan to stuff the chicken, that is absolutely fine. However, we can have a little bit of fun creating a gorgeous culinary spray tan for the bird. And that really is just another word for spices. So when I create a Moroccan spray tan, we're going to create a spice mix called Ras Al Hanout, which is a gorgeous combination of quite a few different spices, but essentially cumin, coriander. They use saffron, fenugreek, and an allspice, and quite a few more, but those you could just use as the basics. Mine's also got a little bit of the rose petal through, which is really, really gorgeous, but you could rely on something that you already have in your pantry and just make sure it's fresh. Something like curry powder, smoked paprika, or just your basic turmeric mix. We could also, of course, make a peri-peri sauce. You could do a pesto, you could do a harissa, a chamula, and we could literally go around the world giving our chicken a different personality every single time. So just using my Ras Al Hanout mix here, I've got about a tablespoon of the spice. What I'm going to do then is, just to add a bit of moisturizer, I'm going to add a lemon-scented extra virgin olive oil. Now, of course, you can use any oil that you have. Just make sure that it's not old and rancid. You can just use a plain olive oil, or if you prefer a vegetable oil, you could use that as well. Just combining the Ras Al Hanout and the oil, we get a lovely spray tan or a lovely paste that we can then rub onto our bird. So just to get some more of that Moroccan flavor profile through into our spray tan, I'm going to use the zest of an orange and a lemon. I'm also going to use some of the juice. Whenever I'm using the juice of an orange and a lemon, I always say take the zest off. If you're not going to use it straight away, put it in a bag or a little dish in the freezer, and you can use it next time you need to really bling up a salad dressing or a sauce or something like that. It really does add free flavor. And I can also then add a little bit of the juice as well. And that will really give us something great to work with. So just a little bit there, and then mixing it together. And what we're going to do is give our bird here a gorgeous spray tan. Now you can see all of that flavor is really going to be painted onto this. Of course, you could just use your hand, but turmeric does stain, so just be careful if you do. So just get a nice even coverage of this glorious spice mix. And I know that you're actually imagining what combination you have got available to use for your next roast chicken. So that is looking rather gorgeous. Now we need to just season that skin perfectly. So what I like to do is, you could use a flake salt, but if you've got a normal table salt, what I like to do is just put it in one of these little tea strainers, and it makes a beautiful even amount of salt snow. So getting an even coverage really does make a difference when you bite into that later. And of course, just a little bit of cracked pepper, and this guy is literally ready to go in the oven. So of course, our beautiful bird is ready to go into the oven. But if you needed to bulk it up, or if you really loved stuffing, stuffing is a great way to add personality, flavor, and of course increase how many people we can serve with our one little bird. I do like to use a bread stuffing, but often if you're wanting something just a little bit of fresh and maybe a little bit leaner on the carbs, what you can use is a roast sweet potato, butternut, or pumpkin. So what you can see here is, while the oven was preheating, I just put a very fine or small dice of the pumpkin and sweet potato just under the grill, sort of in the middle of the oven, for about 5 to 10 minutes, and they've gone beautiful and caramelized and golden. They are also, when I push them down, they are definitely cooked through. However, you could use a leftover butternut or pumpkin or anything that you might have. So when we're trying to make that nice and exciting, what I've got is some diced pancetta. So I've got a little bit of pancetta. I've also got a little bit of bacon. Now, getting my pan nice and hot, and when I'm about to put cold bacon into a pan, I'm going to make sure that that pan is nice and hot, because putting cold pancetta or bacon into a cold pan will give us grey bacon or grey pancetta, which is not sexy. So this is now heated, and I want to hear a sizzle when that all hits the pan, and that really will brown it off very nice and quickly and give us the maximum flavor that we can possibly get out of that bacon and the pancetta. So as you can see, I'm not rushing to stir this, because if I stirred too much, even though our beautiful pan is nice and hot, you would lower the temperature and all of that fluid would come gushing out, which is basically the meat crying because it's losing all of its beautiful flavor. So I'm going to let that brown off just a little bit. Then I can add some of my chopped onion. So a little bit of onion, and usually you would put the onion in first, but with this, we're going to render the fat out of the pancetta and the bacon, and it's going to taste absolutely marvelous. I'm also ready over here to add my onion to that bacon, and I've got quite a bit in there because I like to have a little bit extra just to make another meal later on down the line. So once our lovely onions and bacon are caramelized and cooked and beautiful, we're going to add some sage or some basil or whatever herb you love with your poultry. I am just always lazy and use my kitchen scissors to chop it in there. Of course, if they're dried, it can go straight in. And then we're going to add our cooked sweet potato or butternut or pumpkin, whatever you have. And like I said, that could have been a leftover that you had from another meal. So a great way to recycle or upcycle your leftovers. So once I've got that lovely butternut or your pumpkin or your sweet potato, whatever you've used through there, I'm going to stir this just a little bit to cool it down. Now, of course, you can mash this down, but if you're lazy, you can just call it a rustic stuffing, and it'll be absolutely glorious like this. We can press it down once it is under that chicken skin. I could also add some beautiful fresh spinach, which is really just whole. It can go in there because remember, spinach wilts very quickly, and this literally would be bursting with all the nutrition and the color and the personality that your family will enjoy. What we can do is bash down another spray tan just to give you a bit of inspiration. So the next time you do this, you've got two beautiful ideas that you can use to make your roast chicken sound much more expensive. So what we're going to do is we've done a Moroccan style, and I thought what we could do is, sticking on the African continent, we could do a little bit of a peri peri. So peri peri, obviously coming from Mozambique, very popular around the world at the moment because of its glorious flavor. I've just got a little bit of garlic, just 3 garlic cloves in our pestle and mortar, and I find this very therapeutic. We're just going to bash that down, get the flavor out of there, and obviously make a little bit of the pulp with the peri peri rub that we are going to make for our bird. I'm also going to add some of the lemon zest again. We are going to use the juice too, but like I said, always take the zest off as well because that's free flavor. So once we've got that zest in there, we can also get the juice out of our lemon, and lemon goes so well with chicken. So once I've got that lemon in there, we can then add some chili. Now, of course, the bird's eye chili is the one that we would commonly use, but if you don't like it as hot, you are welcome to use a less fierce chili, whatever suits you and the family. So this is starting to look really good. What we need is just a little bit of lemon thyme, and then I'm going to bash this down, add some olive oil, and that is going to be our beautiful peri peri spray tan for our second chicken. So your stuffing should be cool before you use it to stuff your bird. So you can make it in advance. If it is slightly warm, it is fine, but then you need to roast your bird straight away. Now we had our Moroccan spray tan, which was with the Ras Al Hanout. I've also got that sexy peri peri, which as you can see is very vibrant and a gorgeous red. I'm going to rub that into the skin just like I did the other one, and then we are ready to stuff these birds. So of course these could be served with a variety of accompaniments. So you could do your traditional roast potatoes and the roast veggies in the oven just on a separate tray, or even around our beautiful birds here, and they would all roast down together. If you are roasting them at the same time with these birds, that will take about 25 to 35 minutes. You will need to cut your veggies smaller. Of course, we could also use just a beautiful salad. So this could be served hot or cold. So it's perfect to keep your chicken nice and interesting and moist. Now, when we are going to stuff our birds, it is nice to have just a small sort of sized tablespoon. It really does make this part of it that much easier. So as you can see, I'm just feeding that beautiful, gorgeous stuffing, and I think that if you were too lazy to do this, by all means, roast the chickens as they are, and that could be the accompaniment that you serve with them. There are many ways to do it. But I'm going to definitely stuff these birds, then all the work is done, and very easy to carve these at the table when we have cut them down like this. So I've put about quite a few tablespoons of the filling under the skin, and you can see it bunched up there. But now we just do a sneaky little down under and just get all of that filling right down over the thigh, down to the drumstick, and it is ready to be reloaded and then just go again. So it is a little bit messy, but this is going to be bursting with flavor. What we've also done is we've plumped up our birds. So you'll be able to serve more guests with just the one. So now just doing the same with the other side. And like I said, the spoon is going to make it much neater and much easier. And don't be worried if some of it is falling out. We can just stick it back in there. So literally this chicken skin will become a little envelope or a pocket for the stuffing that you have made. And it really does add some beautiful moisture and flavor to a classic roast chicken. So I've already seasoned this bird. This guy just needs a little bit of salt snow and ready for the oven. Now the oven is set quite hot, so if you're not in a rush, by all means you can do it at about 180. I'm going to put these guys in at 200 degrees Celsius for about 25 to 30 minutes. So while those birds are in the oven, I always like to teach you how to make a bit of culinary bling, some accessories, something to add some personality, even more personality to those gorgeous chickens. Now, with the peri peri chicken that I made, what I'm going to serve with that is some fresh coriander, some finely chopped red onion, and some more chili, and just a little squeeze of lemon juice and lemon zest. But for the Moroccan one with the ras al hanout, what would really match those Moroccan flavors is, of course, some pistachio nuts. So I've got some pistachio nuts here, and I'm just going to roughly chop them. And what I love is not only will these give our Moroccan chicken a gorgeous crunch, but this ridiculous green that is the natural color of the pistachio will be very sexy indeed. So when we think about our Moroccan chicken, we want a little bit of sweetness to add to that, and these dates will work perfectly. I'll then add some freshly chopped mint or basil, whatever you prefer, and then a little bit of the lemon zest, and this culinary bling is ready to be served with our Moroccan chicken. So these are absolutely gorgeous. So I just need to transfer it into a plate that we are going to take it to the table in. And always, if you're wanting to check that bird and make sure that it's cooked, I always just go to a little bit of the thigh and the breast, have a little look and make sure that the meat is beautifully cooked through and the juices run clear. All we need to do now is adorn our beautiful roast chicken with its culinary bling, and this will be ready to serve. Guys, I'm sure you're going to enjoy this. It's going to become a firm family favorite. So happy cooking and enjoy.